the students and the faculty members equally participate and be a part of the discussion.
Yes. Especially if we relate it to our real life instances, uh, real life issues, then not only does it, the discussion helps us and also helps everybody else who is listening. So,
Didi, this is what I have come to feel, that even during the morning discussions, when I
yeah.
listen to the discussions, so many things, the petty issues, the little issues which were ignored by us
Mm,
and not really taken up in a very conscious manner, they come into our vision so clearly during the discussions.
true.
I think just within a minute we'll start our
Sure.
discussion, and till then, maybe many of our friends would join in. So, Dr. Jalaja is also with us, and Mr. Ravindra Kumar Raut sir is also with us. Uh, Priya ma'am is there. So I think if so many of our friends who are regular part of our meetings are also with us.
Mm.
So Didi, I think I'll extend a very, very warm welcome to all our friends, dear students as well. And this is another, reunion in a way, or get together, a follow up of eSIP, which as an initiative has been taken up and joined together to discuss various proposals related uh, to our real life day-to-day activities and the feelings that we have in us, and a lot of clarity regarding the same and a lot of discussion regarding the same takes place during this reunion and this ESIP follow-up sessions. So this is uh, our Wednesday session wherein we take up various feelings, and we have been discussing uh, uh, the feeling of love, affection as such, which was taken up on the last turn. We'll continue with it, of course, with a little recap of what we had discussed earlier. And with that, since so many of our friends are also with us and students are also with us, uh, there were many queries and questions taken up last time. We'll be more interactive, I hope, this time, so that each one of us are equally participative in this particular discussion. With a very warm welcome to each of the participants, the panelists, and everybody. I welcome Dr. Sharmila Astana Didi, and Arjun, I can also see is with us, so that's good. I'll hand over the platform to Sharmila Didi to start talk on the proposal. Sharmila Didi.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Manisha ji. Namaste. Sabhi ko namaste. Welcome, everybody. And I think, tomorrow being a big festival, it's nice to see that so many of you were able to uh, take time out and come for this session. So I welcome you all. Last time we had started this discussion regarding love. So we'll just briefly recap a little bit about what we discussed last time. And if anybody has any observations or if anybody has any sort of incidences from life they would like to share, then we will welcome that and you can raise your hands and we'll pass the mic over.
Didi, in this regard, the chat says they are, of course, except for the greetings from all across. I can see Miss Vasanti Vasi Reddy ma'am has said that, ma'am, last time we thought of continuing the discussion on fighting can also be a process of understanding. Now,
Huh.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. If somebody can recall exactly what that was, Vasanti ji, if
Yes. I think
you
I'll,
could just
Vasanti ma'am,
refresh.
I'll request you to just raise your hand so that, yes, I can see Vasanti ji. So the mic is with Vasanti ji. Uh, I am not able to see Vasanti ji in right now, though. Uh, yes, yes, Vasanti ma'am, you have the mic. Maybe uh, we'll hear it from you, like what all we had been discussing, so that we can take it up. Uh,
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
Good
evening. Good
evening.
evening.
Good evening, Sharmila, ma'am.
Good evening, Vasanti ji. Welcome.
Ma'am, don't say G. You're so experienced. Call me by name. That's enough, ma'am. Vasanthi is enough. Uh,
See,
ma'am,
this feeling of respect is for all. So, uh, yeah,
I
go
take
ahead.
it as your affection, ma'am. No problem. Call me Vasanthi. That
Tell
was
me.
about you were discussing husband and wife relation, ma'am.
Hmm.
Then casually I posed a question that a few people would be fighting only to let them know each other much. That's where we stopped at 8:35 or so.
Uh, what you meant that when they.
Maybe mutual understanding, ma'am. To have right understanding, you were explaining that how can we
Uh-huh.
understand each other. Then we
Mm-hmm.
don't need. I think if we misunderstand, that leads to maybe disruption or something like that. Then I said maybe this also is a process because a few people take it in this way. I said. Then it was almost 8:40. That's why we
Okay,
thought of
okay.
continuing now.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So the question is, correct me if I'm wrong. The question is that for understanding to be there between husband and wife, this fighting can be a process leading to it. Was that the question?
I don't say that it can be a process, but a few people who were fighting also, we don't need to find fault with them because they
Hmm.
couldn't hide their feelings and they would be opening up with each other. Instead of thinking, if I say this, the other person would be misunderstanding,
Yeah.
they may express it openly so that they may have a presumption that the other person would understand. That's why openly
Yeah.
they express their feelings and that leads to fight, I thought.
Mm. So,
That,
there are a couple of options there. One option could be that we have some feeling which is not the right feeling for the other person.
yes,
And
ma'am. This is
we,
only for exploration, ma'am.
yeah,
Not.
yeah, sure, sure,
Yes,
sure. I
yes.
understand.
Okay.
So if I don't have the right feeling for the other, then I may or may not express it to the other. So one option may be that I keep it to myself. I
Yes,
don't have the right feeling, but I keep it to myself. I don't share with the other.
yes, ma'am.
Another option can be that I don't have the right feeling, but I also choose to express it to the other.
Yes, yes,
So
ma'am.
here uh, we are not talking about the third option, which can be to not have the this feeling at all, but to have the right feeling for the other. So even
Maybe
that option,
intention,
yeah,
right intention. Yeah.
yeah. So now all possibilities do exist. So what is naturally acceptable to us? That we have to see. So is it naturally acceptable to us to not have the right feeling and not share? Is it naturally acceptable to not have the right feeling and share? Or is it naturally acceptable to have the right feeling?
Right
What would,
feeling and share. Mm.
yeah, yeah, nice.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if we are able to see this, that it is not naturally acceptable to me to have a wrong feeling for the other person,
Yes, ma'am.
then I will make effort to have the right feeling for the other person. And it is
Mm.
very simple. Actually, in simple words, we say all these things about, put yourself in the other person's shoes, or try to
Yes,
see from the other person's perspective.
true,
Those
ma'am.
kind of words we say.
Mm.
But essentially, what that means is that we are sort of seeing that the other person's intention is right. The other person doesn't intend to sort of fight or displease us, those kind of things, but
True.
it doesn't have the competence. If I am able to see this, then if I have more competence, then I will be able to see this, that yes, the other person doesn't have the competence, therefore the other person is behaving this way. But I need not get upset about it. I need not have the wrong feeling for the other person. I can stay in harmony myself. And then I can actually try to help the other person. So, when do I try to help the other person understand? When I have the right feeling or when I don't have the right feeling?
Right feeling.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, that is also very easy to see. Because when I don't have the right feeling, then I don't see the other person's intention at all.
True,
I'm
ma'am.
I'm thinking that the other person doesn't want to behave properly. So that makes me get angry, get irritated, and then we end up having a fight.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that process of the fight, I am expressing the feeling to the other, and I am also unhappy, I am uncomfortable. I can see it's not naturally acceptable to me. It's not naturally acceptable to the other also when I'm sharing it also. Now, if I don't share also, maybe I may not be hurting the other, although a lot of times, it will show, it will reflect in my behavior in some way or the other. But even if I am careful not to express to the other, still, because that feeling is not naturally acceptable to me, I will be unhappy. This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
what we are saying. So it
Yes.
is for us all to explore and see, is that true for us? If
And
we think about
sometimes
it.
I think intention may be the same, but choice of words may lead to that disruption, ma'am. I think so. Is
True,
it?
true.
Yeah. Mm.
So if we look at it in a simple way, that, in for one person, if um, certain words are used as a form of respect, but in another culture, that word may be not considered respect. It might mean something different. It might mean an abuse, perhaps.
Informal. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Ah. So now, if I am saying it with the intention of respecting, the other person will be hurt and upset because he thinks that I'm abusing.
True, ma'am. Mm.
So, I mean, this is a crude example, but a
Yeah.
lot of times this is what it is, that the intention is right, but competence part is lacking. And therefore, this we build it up in ourselves to such an extent that we get all upset and we start having arguments and fights.
Mm. Yes,
And
ma'am.
of course, if we are going to have the wrong feeling and not communicate to the other, that might make the situation worse, because then we just build it up in our own mind, the other person builds it up in themselves, and the cold war just keeps going on.
True, ma'am. So
So
here, I think, does it mean that we need to take care of both intention and competence, ma'am?
yes, yes,
Balancing both, yeah. Mm.
yes. And we need to evaluate the other person's competence. That is important,
Oh, yeah,
because
this
you
is
know
a good point, ma'am. Based on that, we need to change our mode of expression and all. Yes,
yes, yes.
yes,
Like now I am speaking in English. If all
yes,
of you were only able to understand Hindi and I keep speaking in English,
yes.
then it doesn't serve the purpose. So I have to evaluate and see, are the people generally able to understand English or not? and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
speak in English. If I find that most people are fluent in Hindi but don't understand English, then I might switch to
Better
Hindi.
to Hindi. Yes, ma'am.
So same way, lot of times we don't evaluate the other person's competence, and we think it is their intention.
True, ma'am.
So we end up having all these grudges, we have arguments, we have fights. So
True.
when we are seeing that just like my intention is pure, the other person's intention is also pure, and when the intention is pure, then at that time I am also evaluating the competence, my own competence and the other person's competence. Now if the other person has more competence than me, then I can take help from the other, I can learn from the other person. But if I have more competence, then I will not get upset, angry, then I will just be able to be in harmony and understand that yes, the person is lacking in competence, and I will try to find creative ways in trying to help the other person
Yes, ma'am.
gain in
Supporting. Yeah.
competence. Yeah.
Nice, ma'am. Thank you very much. Just
Thank
I
you.
think you asked me to remind. That's why I reminded
Yes,
it.
no, it's very good you did, because otherwise we would not have talked about
No
it at
problem.
all.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Nice to hear you.
Ma'am,
Welcome.
namaste.
Namaste.
Ma'am, there's a message in the YouTube chat box by Dr. Manish Sharma.
Mhm.
How can we understand the feeling of others if they are never expressing them and keep things only to them and then later blast like a volcano, giving out all at a time? It's a
Yes.
catch-22 situation anyways.
Yes.
So Dr. Manish Sharma wants to know.
Yeah. So here also, I think what we can all see is that, you know, when we are thinking about, the feelings that are naturally acceptable to us, then we want to have the right feeling. Similarly, if I can see myself at the level of the self, if this is the case for me, then every other person also will have the same natural acceptance to have the right feeling. But sometimes what happens is that the other person may not be in harmony, may not be able to have that competence to be calm, to be in harmony. A little bit of disturbance may disturb the other person's harmony. And when that happens, then the other person will naturally, you know, uh, express that out. After all, I can only give what I have. If I have the right feeling, I will share the right feeling. If I don't have the right feeling, I will share whatever I have. So that's what I share. Now, I, as a person, if I can see this other person sharing the wrong feeling with me, there are two ways I can look at it. Either I can think, oh God, he is so horrible and he's not sharing the right feeling with me. He's at fault here. And I get angry and upset. The other way to look at it may be that look at him. He's sharing this kind of feeling. He must himself be in so much pain to be able to shout so much. The moment I think like this, I have a different feeling towards the person. Now I have, a feeling of wanting to help the other person. So now I will try to see all kinds of creative ways in which I can try to help that person. Lot of times what we are doing when the other person shouts is we are trying to either, you know, uh, without awareness, sort of play a blame game kind of thing, blaming the other person, or a lot of times we are trying to change the other person to the way we think is right for them, and that does not work. The other person doesn't accept it because somewhere they don't have trust in what we are doing. But the moment we see from their perspective, the moment we are able to see that the other person is in pain, that's why the other person is shouting, then it changes my whole way of looking at the person. Now I start thinking, see, this person is in so much pain. Let me see how I can help him. A simple example that I think last time, or I don't remember if we took this example last time, but we often take it in our workshops and all. That if you look at, mothers, when do they beat their child? When they are sort of frustrated, irritated, angry, or when they are comfortable inside? When is it that they beat the child? And the obvious answer is that, they
No state
uh,
of discomfort. Yeah.
yeah, when they are uncomfortable inside, that's when they beat the child or they get angry or upset with the child. So if I can see that the other person is shouting, that is reflecting his state. It has nothing to do with my state. So why am I creating disturbance in myself because of that? Shouldn't it be that if I can see that his state is a problem, that I should try to see how I can help him correct that state? So that would be my response.
Thank you, ma'am. Hope that puts Dr. Manish Sharma at ease. We have a hand raised, I suppose.
Um, are there hands raised?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So then we'll just go back to recapping a little bit. We had said that, we can verify on the basis of our natural acceptance if we want to be related to none, one, many, or everyone. And we had asked this question, and we had got the response from all of you that we have a natural acceptance to be having this feeling of being related to all. And this, we said, is the feeling of love. What we see in terms of this feeling of being related to one or few or many, that we term affection. Of course, if we don't have this feeling of being related to anybody, then we would be in opposition to all. And in opposition to all means then we would look at life as a big struggle, as almost like a, survival of the fittest kind of thing. Affection is the starting point from moving away from opposition to the feeling of being related to the other. That means to accept the other as one's relative. And slowly we can expand this circle of affection that we have. It may be, to start with, it may be we could see this only for one or two people within the immediate family, but we could widen this circle to include maybe friends, relatives, neighbors, the community, and so on, till we have the feeling of being related to all, which is love, and that is the complete value. So we had talked about that little bit. We had mentioned, how today there is a lot of sort of misunderstanding regarding love. A lot of things are mistaken, a lot of feelings are mistaken for the feeling of love. So we said, sometimes all these movies and all, they show this um, things like, uh, visually people look at one another, they fall in love, and there is a lot of excitement. And so lot of people who see these movies, they feel this is what love is about. But when it comes to sensation, this sensation, whether it be seeing, hearing, touching, whatever comes through the five senses, so this sensation, what has to do with sensation, has to do with the body. So love is a feeling which is there in the self. Sensation is coming through the body. So I would like everybody to just perhaps mention in the chat. So, is it possible to keep getting happiness from this sensation? Because after all, our aim is for continuous happiness. This is what we all aspire for. This is what we saw is our basic aspiration for all of us. So, is it possible to get this continuous happiness through sensation? So, if you can just answer in the chat, yes or no. Is it possible to get this continuous happiness from sensation from others? I'm not able to see the chat. Could you, Manisha
Yeah,
ji?
ma'am.
Yes, Didi, most of them are mentioning no, ma'am. I don't think so, ma'am. This was
Okay.
Srirag saying, and then, of course, Shashikant ji's again, no sensation can't give continuous happiness. Then,
Okay. Nice.
Dr. Gajendra Kumar Saraswat ji is also saying no. Then Miss Priya saying only that moment. And of course, Punamulam sir is also saying no. So most of the people, Avish is also saying no, Dr. Avish. So this is what we are getting the answer as.
Mm, nice. So, yes. So, basically, this is what we call lust. This is not love. And here it has to do with trying to get this sensation from the other person. So, obviously, you're dependent on the other person. This is not a feeling within you. This is something that you are trying to get some happiness through somebody else, through sensation. Of course, then continuity will not be possible in that case. Similarly, there are various preconditionings that are there about love. Again, a lot of the media and the um, whatever movies are made, songs, and all of these, they tend to highlight this, um, visualizing this as, what we mentioned, that love at first sight, or this notion that a person has to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend by a certain age, and so on and so on. So those kind of things are linked more with infatuation. And here again, you can see that if it is like this, is it possible to have continuity of happiness? Because here again, this is an assumption that we have, that the moment I set eyes on somebody and I fall in love, now this is going to stay. Is it going to stay a lifetime? A lot of times, the movies end when the two people get together, but perhaps we should also try to see what happens beyond that. So when the honeymoon is over, then what happens? So is there um, just with infatuation, a moment's thought process of some assumption, is the continuity going to be possible? So here also we'll be able to see that the continuity is not going to be possible. So where would the continuity be possible? After all, it is a feeling within myself. So if I can have this feeling within myself, then I can ensure that continuity. My feeling is in my control. Whenever I am trying to get something from outside, then it's no longer in my control. But whenever it is my feeling, this feeling is within me, and I can ensure having this feeling in continuity within myself, this feeling of being related to all. And when I feel related to all, then I will try to give to all rather than take from anybody. I will feel responsible towards everybody, and I will give to everybody rather than take from them. And here, this continuity is possible. So, is that something that seems doable? Or, do we have any um, misgivings about this? In real life, are we able to see this? You can raise your hands if you have any observations, and we'll pass the mic. This is something that uh, is very commonly noticed in the youth also, and in general through the media and all. I think Dr.
Yes, Didi,
Shivadas
Dr. Shivadasan ji
is.
is there.
Madam, namaste, namaste.
Namaste, Shivdasan ji. Namaste.
Since because I wanted to remain connected, so I thought let me interact.
Nice.
Use
Very
this
nice.
moment also. And there must be a lot of students also maybe listening to you now.
Yes.
Since this is regarding the preconditioning and the topic we are now exploring about the love and preconditioning the love. Now it's all about a feeling. Suppose I have got a true love and I give it out. The other end there is somebody to receive it. So that the receiver is depending on me for the feeling. Then the process, holistically, the center and the receiver put together, it will become a futile business. Is it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
please, clarify, madam, that
Yes.
if I send it, if I receive, if I give it to somebody, I am giving to someone else, there is a receiver, automatically it is implied. So that person is depending on me for feeling.
Yeah.
So put together, it will not become holistic.
Yeah. So it's very true that, I cannot ensure this reception of the feeling that I am expressing. I cannot ensure reception of this feeling in the other person. But what I can do is I can ensure this feeling within myself. The moment I ensure this feeling within myself, it takes care of my harmony. I am in harmony, I am in happiness. If I continue to have this feeling, if I can ensure the continuity of this feeling, then I can be in continuous happiness. Now, when I am in harmony, when I am in happiness, then I am able to see, I am able to deal with the situation outside better than if I am in disharmony myself. So, first and foremost, let me ensure my harmony. Let me have this feeling within myself. So, I am at peace, I am in harmony, I am in happiness. Now I can deal with the outside situation. Now, if the other person is not in a position to receive the expression, I may not even have expressed it. After all, if I am feeling related to all, that means all, not just human beings, it means animals, birds, trees, plants, everything in this whole on the earth. So obviously, I will not express this feeling to all, but I will ensure this feeling within myself. So, like for instance, you know, if something untoward is happening, say in America today, now I can have the right feeling for everybody there, even though I may not express it to them. So, that is one part, to ensure the feeling within myself. Then, when I go to express it to the other person, I will also be seeing that this other person doesn't have the right understanding and therefore is trying to get happiness from outside from the other. One is to have the right expectation of feeling from the other is to try to derive happiness. So if I have right understanding, I will have this feeling within myself. I will also expect that the other person has this feeling, but at the same time I have right understanding, so I will not get perturbed if the other person doesn't have this feeling for me.
Correct.
And now if I can see that the other person doesn't have the right understanding, therefore the other person is sort of looking for happiness from outside, that is telling me about his state. that is not a reason for me to get perturbed or lose my harmony. So now when I can see that the other person doesn't have right understanding, I will try to find creative ways in trying to help him have better understanding, because that is the key. Once he has better understanding, he will be able to have this feeling within himself also. So that would be my suggestion to go about it.
Thank you, madam.
Welcome. Thank you. Mr. Rabindra Kumar.
Namaste, namaste, madam.
Namaste, namaste.
Namaste,
बताइए.
namaste. This right understanding is or right evolution. This is the very fundamental aspect of each and every human being to ensure harmony at the level of self. So that is the very basic theme of the life. So that it may be this is the very and each and every day we interact, we encounter everywhere. This understanding of self is very important.
True.
So every time, say in parents relation, in husband wife relation, in every relation, in boss and the subordinate relation, this feeling of the belonging of this relationship of love is a very the highest value of the relations in the everywhere. So that is the highest value we can say in the relationship. So this so what is what is observed that as we know that the program potential and the purpose of all human being is same for all, and we just differentiate with the level of competence, because that competence comes from the preconditioning and sensation. Like every day we almost 90% of the assumptions are taken from the outside. We see TV, we assume what others say. Somebody says that he's a bad fellow, then we immediately take this as right. So that is the basic fundamental thing everywhere we encounter. So that has to be seriously thought and inside. That consciousness is a very powerful thing. And the day by day we come across this the programs, madam. So that is again say today you are saying this, again the same thing tomorrow you are, madam, saying, and again lot of exploration is going on. So that is the purpose of, because we have to, the first of all, as a self, I have to improve myself. If I improve myself, then only I can do anything for my family or my society or for my nature. That is my understanding. So the day by day we come across these discussions, and this is definitely, first of all, it is the improvement of myself. So unless and until I improve my understanding and my what is the happiness, it maybe it is same, everybody is thinking about what is the happiness, but actually in the this comes immediately, but definitely it will take time. But say throughout the life, say for example husband wife, there is 70-80% time the husband tells that the wife is the best in front of others, but with a small word again this same every relations break. So that is very important thing, and that is I feel due to say some the interaction and each and every words in the relationship, whether it is a student teachers relation, whether it is a husband wife relation, whether it is a any environment interaction. So whenever we are talking with each other, and we have to minutely observe what is my each and every word, what this the word has a essence of meaning to carrying to the other, and also from the other side also should understand what is the and the essence of the each and every word. So definitely love is a complete value, and the relatedness to the all will be the coming.
Yes. Yes, and what we are saying is that, in our thought process, in our imagination, we could be guided by so many ways. Our imagination could be motivated by some assumption, like this infatuation. It could be motivated by sensation, like we gave the example of lust. But
Yes.
when our imagination is coming from natural acceptance, that is when we feel related to all. This natural acceptance is nothing but right understanding. This capacity within me of natural acceptance. When I pay attention to it, when I pay heed to it, and my imagination is guided by this, then I verify this with my behavior, and I find that this becomes understanding for me. So when I have this understanding, then I have the right feeling within me. And the whole purpose is to try and make this whole circle that you see with the red and the black and the yellow, that the whole circle become yellow, meaning that my imagination is totally guided by the natural acceptance. Because when that happens, not only am I transforming myself and getting, developed as a human being, but also it is fulfilling my basic aspiration of continuous happiness, because now I am in harmony and I am in continuous happiness, which is what I wanted in the first place.
Yes, madam.
So true.
Didi,
And
Didi, one of the child, Miss Harshan Srinath, is saying that man's sensation doesn't give us happiness. There are many things to do except sensation, and if anything is repeatedly comes in our mind, before that there is nothing in our mind, then it creates negating impact on our mind. Uh, probably the child is trying to say that if something is repeatedly a feeling of sensation is there um, a number of times, then it tries to overpower and create a negative impact on the mind. This is what I think he's trying to say, and then probably wanting to know that how to overcome such kind of situation.
Hi, namaste to all. This is Arjun.
Yes, Arjun. Welcome to the session, Arjun.
Welcome. So this question, I think he's trying to say that when the mind is, when there's no thought about sensation, then it is more peaceful because it is
Yes.
more blank. And then when the time comes of getting that sensation, it's like a memory from before, or it's an expectation in future about a certain sensation, and which is like the source of excitement. So when you're in that situation, you might feel good, but then when you're not in that situation, then the absence of that situation will make you feel unhappy. So like the absence of that sensation which you wanted to get, if that is like, if that sensation is not coming but you want it to come, and there's no way you can get it, then it makes you unhappy. So the solution for that is to like work towards the right understanding only. There's no other route, but at the same time we can just try to always be aware that when we are getting this kind of a feeling where we are um, getting into that sensation kind of thing where we are feeling unhappy, then if we can pick it up as soon as it happens, then we can be aware of it at that time itself before it spoils our whole mood for the whole day or whatever time it lasts for. So as soon as that comes, if we are able to be aware of it and um, analyze and see that that doesn't give us happiness, then we'll be able to fill that space with something else. So that has to be done, I think.
Yes, and Srirag was saying that, ma'am, can lust turn into love?
yeah, so lust has to do with sensation, while love has to do with this ensuring this feeling within me. And Love has to do with feeling related to all, not just to one or two people. So while lust has to do with, sort of craving for the touch of another human being, love has to do with the feeling within myself and ensuring that feeling within me of being related not just to one person but to all. So it is a very big difference. And I think, for the feeling of love to be there, one would have to have the right understanding. Without that, it would be very difficult to sort of have this right feeling for everybody. While lust is just a sensation, so it is not at all similar. So I don't think that lust can turn into love unless somebody transforms themselves. That is definitely possible. That somebody may have, a person may have had a lot of imagination coming from sensation or from preconditioning, but makes an effort to become aware of the imagination, to become aware of the desires and the thoughts, and try to make them come in line with the natural acceptance and slowly transform oneself, and then get right understanding and then have the feeling of love. That, I would say, is certainly possible.
Very right, Didi. And Srirag is again saying that, ma'am, how can love be acquired? There are many people in this world who can understand what love is. How can I help? There are not many people in this world who can understand what love is. How can I help them understand?
Yeah. So, the very first thing one can do is to make sure that we are able to ensure this feeling within ourselves. So, until and unless we can ensure the feeling, the right feeling within ourselves, it will be very difficult for us to help another person. Because, after all, if I don't have the right feeling, I don't have harmony within myself. If I am not in harmony, I am not in control of my feelings, I don't have the right feeling, then slightest disturbance from outside can rock my boat completely. A little bit of some disturbance, somebody says something, I may end up having the wrong feeling. So, for me to help anybody else understand, first and foremost, I have to ensure this understanding within myself. I have to work for the right understanding. Right understanding meaning to see that the whole, my whole imagination, all my thoughts, all my desires are coming from within me and they are in line with my natural acceptance. When that happens, I have right understanding, I have the right feeling within myself. Now I can go about trying to help the other person um, develop the right understanding. So, first and foremost, we have to work on ourselves. We have to ensure the feeling within ourselves. And then once we have that, understanding, we have the right feeling, then we will find creative ways of helping the other person. So it may be that, we have a discussion with the other person. It may be that we um, sort of interact with the other person in various ways. We may be helping the other person in one or another way to be able to see what we are talking about. But for that to happen, first and foremost, I have to ensure the understanding within myself. In continuity, I have to have this feeling. Then we can go about helping others.
Right, Didi? And Priya, ma'am, Miss Priya CV? Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, perfectly audible.
Ma'am, when the students come to the college, no, they have a feeling they should have a girlfriend or boyfriend. They imitate the others. If one boy is having a girlfriend, the others also feel that urge to have it. So how to make them? Actually, it is, we know it is not healthy, this thing. but it is there in that that mind. If we are not having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, we are actually something down, like that they feel. This is actually love at first sight. These things we know it is not true, but they, in that age, they all feel this is true. So how to uh, convince them?
Yeah, I think a good idea would be to have the workshop for the children, for the students. And I think important is not for us to try to convince them, but for us to just put forward all the proposals before them and let them do the exploring for themselves and see what is naturally acceptable to them. They can ask this question to themselves: would they like to feel related to all or to just one or two? Would they like to, uh, you know, feel like giving to all, or would they want to take from others? Would they want the continuity of this feeling within themselves or not? These kind of questions, if we ask them, they will be able to see for themselves. They will be able to ask these questions of their own natural acceptance and come to some conclusions for themselves. Because if we are just going to say the same thing, that if we are trying to convince them, then it will be one more preconditioning, one more
Yeah.
assumption which they have not explored for themselves. And the any assumption, continuity is not possible, right, unless it is you know guided by the natural acceptance, unless we can see that this is something that can be ensured within myself. So if we keep trying to convince them, they may not be able to uh, see this. At least in the short term, they might be. Then tomorrow, somebody else says something and another assumption comes forward. So assumptions can keep changing with time.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. I think Mr. Chandrasekhar has also raised his hand.
Madam, good evening. Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Chandrasekhar. Please.
Madam, as per my thinking, there is some guide or some person, his elderly person, should be there to make students culturally rich. Students are children. He can go about their mind and he can read them and give proper suggestions. Otherwise, in the era of modernization, what will happen, madam? So, effect of TV, effect of WhatsApp, maybe spoiling the students' mentality. So, is how best we can encourage them to bring them up, and they become broader and broader. In the sense, there should be more positivity rather than virtual. Going towards virtual things like that.
Yeah, so I think, it is important for, having the right kind of society or environment.
Yeah, madam.
But I think it is even more important to be able to explore within oneself.
Yeah.
Because
Many parents cannot guide them, madam.
True.
Yeah.
Because
Or they will not listen even. Parents' suggestions, children may not listen. And a person.
Children may not listen, and also the people who are putting forward the things, they also need to have the right understanding. Otherwise, we will be putting some wrong assumptions into the students' minds.
Yeah, madam. That's why in education policy also some spiritual things we should include. That means their positivity or attitudes towards society, like that. There are a lot of new things uh, I mean to say some like guru type people should be there to lead the children's mind, and lead them to the proper way.
Yeah. So what we are saying is that the guide is there within each one of us. The
Yeah,
guru or the guide
manifest
is
is
there.
required.
And so we can just start checking with that guide within. What
But
is
ignition
happening
is
is,
required. Ignition, somebody has to ignite it.
yes, that's what this workshop and all this is about, as just proposals to put forward
Yeah.
for all of us to explore. Actually, we are so used to looking outside that we don't pay any attention inside.
Oh, yeah.
So now
Introspection.
what we are saying is, let's start looking inside little bit.
Yeah.
And when we start exploring, with our natural acceptance, if we are asking these questions, then the more we ask our natural acceptance, the sharper it tends to become, the more we become aware of it, you can say. So when that happens, then this process has started. Once that process starts,
Starting
then we
problem.
keep moving forward.
Yeah. It is necessary to motivate the children or students towards that side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Certainly. And I think, teachers make wonderful role models.
Yeah, madam. Yeah.
They can motivate. There
Yeah.
are so many examples of students who were motivated by teachers who transformed themselves,
Yeah. In mass, it is again more effective, madam. In mass.
Yes. True.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So, I think we can, we just have a few more minutes left. So if anybody else would like to put forward their observations or share some instances or some reflections, it would be nice. We just have few more minutes. So you can raise your hand if anybody would like to share.
Yes, Didi, Dr. Vaishali is there. She has, Vaishali ma'am?
Yeah, hello, madam.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
sir.
Namaste.
Now, I would like to ask you one thing that now in this young generation, the trend is having boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay. And if anybody is not having that, then they are keeping that boy or girl or saying that he is backward or not in that community. So what they are thinking ki jinko nahi hai, so they will start searching for that and they will get disturbed. So how to guide them? That is my question.
Yeah. So important thing is to see whether, if I have the right understanding, then regardless of what somebody else says, I will not get disturbed because I know within me, if I have the right understanding, I know I have that knowledge, then I don't get disturbed by somebody else telling me something. So important thing for the students also would be that to give them the proposals for them to explore and to reach to their own right understanding. When they have this understanding, then they are not looking outside. They are not, getting disturbed by somebody else saying something. Somebody's mic is on. We'll have to.
Hello.
Yeah, just one moment. We'll need to. Yeah, go ahead. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. You were saying something?
Yeah, madam. Yeah, I know that there should be right understanding, but to develop right understanding, they require time. And in this 4 years period, how they will find the time and how they will develop their right understanding? Because I saw some cases that in these 4 years, what happens when they enter in the college, that time their understanding and their situations are different. Okay, and but in college, what type of reactions they are expressing from their classmates, and depending on that they are changing themselves. Okay, and that time I'm not finding ki they are developing their right understanding.
Yeah. So right now, because we don't have the right environment in the colleges, we may
Yes.
have, a lot of assumptions, going by a lot of preconditionings in society.
Yeah.
But if we look at it this way, that if we now that we have started this student induction program, so when the students enter into the college, they go through the student induction program. Now, if you stop there and we don't do anything further, then it is possible that it will fade away. But if this is continued in the way it is meant to be, so that the next year again there is a UHV course, the UHV 2 course, and there is a UHV cell in the college, there is a mentor there. For every 20 students, there is a mentor. If those processes are put in place, then this need not be an activity that just happens in a burst of 3 weeks and stops. Then this will be over the time period that the students are there. And this self exploration must start. It's not about just attending the workshop. If we just attend the workshop and we try to get convinced by what people are saying, then it will be one more assumption. And tomorrow, when the students, their friends or somebody comes from outside and says things, that will be another assumption to replace this one. And so assumptions will keep changing and replacing each other. So that is not the solution. The solution is for the student to come to know for themselves what is right for them. And that
Right,
is only
understand.
possible when they explore for themselves. So this whole process, it can start from the time the student enters the college, but uh, unless and until this process of exploration is continued, then that transformation will not happen. If the transformation doesn't happen, then we are looking outside and we keep taking in whatever somebody says and getting disturbed by it. The only way I can ensure myself, my feeling within me, to ensure that I don't get disturbed by the outside, the only way possible is to be able to see that this is, this is not having the right feeling. This is certainly not what I want. What is naturally acceptable to me is to have the right feeling. And the moment the person is able to see this, it becomes understanding for them. So it's not like the whole imagination has to undergo, the whole process has to happen and complete, and only then this is possible. From moment to moment, when we start exploring, uh, in small pieces, I can get, it's like pieces in a jigsaw puzzle. As the
Yeah.
pieces start fitting, even the pieces that have fit, they also make sense. At least that much I can see. And slowly, slowly, as I keep exploring, I can see more and more. And the more I am able to see, the more I am able to ensure the right feeling in me, the more stable, the more in harmony, the more happy I become. And when I experience this, then I can see that yes, this is what I want. This I want this, naturally. I want to be happy all the time. So then I start working more for it. So that process starts once the exploration starts. But that exploration has to start. And for that, these kind of workshops, proposals, giving the proposals, having the mentors, communicating with the students, for the students to feel free to communicate their problems, to be able to talk to the mentors, all that will help.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Mostly, if this problem is there, then there will be they will get psychologically disturbed also.
Certainly. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I saw some cases like this also. So that's why I asked this question.
True.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Manisha ji, I think time is up. We
जी दीदी sure.
so
Now we
we'll
can call
close
it a
then.
day. Yeah, and there are other follow-up meeting on Friday also on health. So we would like to welcome all on that occasion also, and really very thanks Sarmala Didi and thanks Arjun for the very enriching session today. So namaste everybody. We will again meet on Friday for weekly health follow-up meeting and then again on next week Wednesday. So namaste sabhi ko. Namaste.
Namaste to all.